It's not often that I get a chance to try out a rifle scope that costs more than any of my rifles, but this is a Leupold Mark 5 HD 7-35 power by 56mm rifle scope, and we're going to get a hands-on look at it today on this episode of Moondog Industries. For his retirement, my friend Mike gifted himself a Leupold Mark 5 HD. So let's open her up and see all the items that are inside, all the goodies.
We got going in here for the Leupold, all right?
Inside of the box we find an aluminum sunshade, a set of Leupold branded flip-up lens caps, a sticker, an Allen wrench, and the instruction manual, and that's pretty much it for the unboxing. And of course the scope itself, which is, well, beautiful. The fast focus and parallax wheel turned butter smooth. Like most new scopes, the power ring was a little stiff, but the built-in throw lever makes adjusting that very easy. One of the key features is its elevation turret, which is very positive and audible. Each click is 0.1 mil rads with 10 mils of adjustments per revolution, and it is marked with 3 layers of numberings up to 30 on the turret. It has a large, very ergonomic button on the outside of the turret that you depress to unlock it. The turret has a built-in zero stop that you can disengage by loosening the set screws at the top of the turret with the included Allen wrench. Under the turret we see the zero stop mechanism, a spiral track that the zero stop pin rides in. It's a very clever design that partially retracts the locking button with each revolution. You reset the zero by dialing in the turret and tightening down on the set screws. The windage turret is under a protective screw-on cap and requires an Allen key to reset the zero. Yes, it's not as convenient to adjust as the elevation knob, but then again, most long-range shooters use the reticle holdovers for windage anyway. Speaking of the reticle, let's back out to 100 yards and take a look at it. And while we're walking back, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps because it tells the AI that this is good content. And press the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's absolutely free and it helps you because it tells the AI that this is the kind of content you like watching, and it'll suggest more videos like this instead of, say, cat videos. Unless that's your thing, no judgments. And if you like to watch things other than guns and ammo, well, I got you covered there too. Check out my other channel, Moondog R&D, a channel focused on gadget reviews, photo and video gear, geeky stuff. If you don't see a link now, you'll find one at the end of the episode. The Mark 5 HD has a first focal plane CCH reticle. That's Leupold's horror-style reticle designed for extreme long-range precision shooting. And you can see that well illustrated here at the scope's lowest power. Look how many adjustment marks there are below the center crosshairs. Bring this up. Alright, that's our max. Back down. We're at 7 power right now. So quite a bit of range there. The range of adjustments and elevation is 30 mils. That's 100 MOA. Our windage. Its lateral or windage range of adjustments is only half that at 15 mils or 50 MOA. And that just shows you how optimized this particular scope is for long-range precision shooting. Alright, let's do our nipple twister test. This test was coined by my buddy Cyclops Joe on his channel, and it really puts a scope's turrets through its paces. We're going to see if the scope returns to 0 after the turrets have been randomly abused. I'm dialing the turrets back to their printed 0, and we're going to see if the reticle returns to its starting point. Wow, wouldn't it be amazing, wouldn't it be a bitch if this $2,500 scope didn't return to its original position? There we go. Right back to 0. Well, it passed that test. It also passed the box test. I turned all the turrets 1 full revolution in each direction, and no spoilers here, the Leupold returned back to the bullseye. Alright, we're right back to 0. Now let's look at the most important thing with any scope is the optics, the clarity, the resolution, the sharpness. The image I was seeing through the glass was just amazing, super sharp, super bright, and really good color rendition. And unfortunately, it's impossible to really capture that with a digital camera because the camera itself will compensate for a lack of contrast, for color saturation. Now, when people say that there's a big difference between, say, a $500 scope and scopes over $1,000, well, this ED glass, the coatings, yeah, it does make a difference. With this scope, you wouldn't even need a reactive target. I could easily see the 22 holes on paper. I'm zooming in 200% on the footage just so we can get a clearer look at some of the details here. At its highest magnification is where most cheaper scopes fail because what you're magnifying is all the faults in the inherent glass quality. Now, as you can see here, the edge-to-edge sharpness at the outer edges of the image is actually pretty sharp. There's a little bit of softness in the top left quadrant, but overall pretty darn sharp. And more importantly, there's almost no chromatic aberrations here. And as we look at our U.S. Air Force optical resolution chart on the right, and I've had to move it off of center, which is usually the sharpest point on any scope, but I had to move it off center because I had to keep the chart clear of the reticle. I can make out both horizontal and vertical lines in element 1 of group 0. How good is that? Well, that's as good as some 80mm spotting scopes I've tested. And if that wasn't enough of a superlative, one quality that we aren't seeing in this footage is the eye box and eye relief. And the eye box was good. I'd say better than the Mark III, so par for the course. But its eye relief is exceptional. At its highest power setting, the Mark V has an eye relief of 3.8 inches, which is better than most scopes at their lower power setting. But I guess when you're spending over $2,000 for a scope, that's the level of performance and features you should expect. Now, the scope is not without its faults. It's just that I can't find many other than the price. Now, this kind of price tier is well out of the league of, I'd say, the majority of gun buyers out there. But it is a great scope if you're into long range, and I mean extreme long range precision shooting. It's got 100 MOA of elevation adjustments. That's a lot. And that reticle is just bonkers in the level of detail and complexity. In fact, if you really want to nerd out on details about that reticle, I can highly recommend this video by Gavin Tube on Ultimate Reloader. But as cool as this reticle is, I have to say that it's well beyond what your typical range shooter is ever going to need or use. And yes, I can see that many times getting more performance than you really need is kind of cool. And there are cases where something powerful just, gets out of hand. For example, most ranges max out at 100 yards, but at 35 power, the reticle looks very cluttered and makes it hard to spot your holes on paper. And yes, the optics on the scope are really good, but is it more than you need? So is this scope right for you? Well, it boils down to how do you shoot? How far do you plan to shoot? There's an old rule of thumb about getting accuracy and performance out of your rifle, and that you should spend as much, if not twice as much, on your scope as you did on your rifle. So, is a $2,500 scope really worth it? To that I say, please don't tell my friend's wife how much he spent on the scope. Well, I hope you liked this episode. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and thanks again for watching. Moondog, out. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please share it on forums, Facebook, Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, MeWe, whatever social media you're on. And if you want to see all of my videos, check out moondogindustries.com.